Hello indie game fans, another week, another set of fantastic releases, where it's always a great time to be an indie game fan, so let's begin with the hotly anticipated first-person shooter Selaco. This runs on the GZ Doom engine, which has its roots in the original engine that Doom ran in, so it's that kind of boomer shooter, but with modern polish and added effects. You play as a security captain of an underground facility that holds refugees after the fall of Earth, where the facility itself comes under attack, so you need to fight off the invaders and find out what is going on. This has been a very long time coming, but will be an early access release comprising of 30 maps, with the 1.0 release planned at the completion of Chapter 2 in 2026, with Chapter 3 being a free expansion, so there's still a ways to go, but it is one of the most hotly anticipated shooters for a good reason. I've had my eye on this game as well, since Rack and Slay is fairly unique when it comes to roguelite, essentially being a billet's roguelite but as a dungeon crawler, where you're attempting to knock enemy balls into holes, and has roguelite style upgrades and procedural generation as well. As such, this is of note due to the uniqueness of concept, and you can easily see this being applied in other traditional games and sports. For example, backgammon, air hockey, carom, darts and more, rather than the more common chess-based roguelite, which I fully expect to see if this game takes off. This video is brought to you by Click Click Dig, a pixel art idle mining game in which you unlock a cast of zany diggers, and is a little bit more strategic than simply watching numbers go up. For example, formation and positioning matters, since the tile that a character is on can improve their effectiveness. In addition, unique ore can be mined on each planet, which can then be used to craft powerful items. There are permanent upgrades and unlocks, such as skins for your miners, as well as research, challenge mode, and features such as golden worms, geode prizes, and big bangs, so if you love incremental games, wishlist this on Steam. The release and insane popularity of Mario Maker back on the Wii U did usher in a new era of games attempting to give you the tools to build your own levels, with the hope being that player-generated levels then provide infinite replayability, with people asking for Zelda Maker that has yet to come from Nintendo, and the latest game to try is Quest Master. Believe it or not, this is not the first attempt at indie Zelda Maker, with other games like Super Dungeon Maker being of note, but this of course has gorgeous pixel art from developer Sky Devil Palm, which is known for this. What previous attempts at this have shown is that it's a lot more complex and intensive to make a coherent, full Zelda dungeon, since the earlier rooms need to build up the player's knowledge in how to interact with it, and upon getting those key items will allow the player to understand how to progress forward, which is much more complex than a standard Mario level. So we'll have to see how this game does, but as always, I'm glad that indie developers are at least giving it a try. The Best Indie Games Summer Showcase returns next week, Tuesday, June 4th, 8 AM Pacific, right here on this channel. Be there or be square. Here's an interesting release in Arcus Chroma Classic, a pixel art fighting game which I've been keeping an eye on for the longest of time, releasing in early access this week. I'm not a huge fighting game person, but I do appreciate indie developers who are making their own, since it is by no means an easy task, and based on early reception to playable builds, it's a fairly solid one of these. However, do note that there is no online support, so if you want to play multiplayer, you have to use remote play or something like Parsec to play with friends, with this being an early version of the game, and with a sequel, Arcus Chroma Dimensional Shift, also being in the works, but if you love fighting games, I do think this will be of interest. Love indie games? Sign up to my newsletter to get a weekly dose of what's hot, along with some news and of course, weekly game giveaways, so if interested, link is in the description below. here's a release that you might not see coming in Wraithbinder, an action roguelite with Metroidvania inspiration that comes to us from developer Wizard Fu, maker of Songbringer from 2017, which was an interesting Zelda-like title. They've made this game into a full roguelite with the expected procedural generation, in-run upgrades and permanent upgrades which carry over from run to run, and looks kind of sweetly animated as well. However, my concern is that other than the visuals and setting, it doesn't appear to be doing anything too crazy or unique, and in the wake of Hades 2, any game in this genre will be a tough sell, but since I enjoyed Songbringer, I thought I'll give it a mention to help the developer out.
King City. A prosperous and bustling metropolis. Until the day its golden guardians fell from the sky. Now King City's prosperity comes at a price. Anyone the company suspects of possessing superpowers is taken off the streets, while those that resist are hunted.
Time to fight back! Leave them to me.
Other games begin with Capes, a turn-based tactical RPG in which you manage a team of superheroes battling against supervillains, looking like a fun take on the genre.
Go on, get out of here!
The outpost has been compromised! Pin him down!
We need to disarm these jerks. Thanks, Rebound.
Weathervane, combine our powers!
You're hesitating, holding back. You're weak, like you're meant to.
There's nowhere to hide.
Take him down!
Time to speed things up.
You all made a big mistake!
The Creepy Tale series of horror adventure games are tremendously popular, with the next entry being Creepy Tale Some Other Place, notable since it doesn't have a number in its title, but sports that signature gorgeous but disturbing hand-drawn art.
Ensnared thee within the very bowels of mine own mind prison, that thou shalt not further thy nefarious endeavors.
Here's a title that you can only find in indie games named Dungeons of Blood and Dream, a first-person dungeon crawler in which you play as a blood wizard attempting to escape a death loop of trippy dungeons and looks weird and unique. The original Hive Jump from 2017 was an interesting roguelike platformer, with the sequel Hive Jump 2 Survivors being a bullet heaven roguelite that looks neat, so let's see if they bring anything new to the table. Overbowed is a throwback pixel art action platformer that I absolutely love the look and sound design of, so if you have any nostalgia for this era of games, give this a look, since it is the hidden gem of the week. this next title releases something like 10 years after the original, in which Reus 2 is another attempt at the God game where you use titans to shape the planet and help or punish the humans, with the indirect control being the key aspect of this, and it's a gorgeous looking game.
After all, this isn't the first planet in which you guide their fickle spirits. To help them, use your elemental giants to create lush biomes. Take your time to let them create harmonic ecosystems that form bountiful lands. Their directions depend on the bounties you provide them. Watch as they use the nature you provide to create inventions and develop new ideas. Meet the many different spirits of humankind, blessed or cursed with their own personalities. They will use it to prosper or to foolishly rebel against the gods. But if you're patient and help them enough, their ambition may surprise and inspire you. Every planet is a new history. Experiment with your giants. Discover humanity and fill the universe with life.
What is a soul?
Here's a little bit of a surprise, since the release of the sandbox survival title Soulmask has been brought forward about 3 weeks from June, having a tribal theme and looks to give Conan Exiles a run for its money.
My world becomes completely different. I can feel the calls. These powers from ancient times resonate only with me. Respond to the calls. A pursuit for more power. These powers will never run dry. This chase for power will never end. With this, I become invincible. Let us embark on a new journey.
An awesome-looking, minimalist roguelite tower defense game is Stellar Initiative, a side-scrolling defense title with a fantastic art style in my opinion, and was second place for the Hidden Gem of the Week. The rogue Prince of Persia is in a weird spot since this is being made by Evil Empire, also known as the Dead Cells people, but with the Ubisoft IP, so I suppose it's the definition of AAA, so not an indie game in my books, but I thought you should know, with this delayed itself due to the surprise release of Hades 2, so let's see how it does. Another interesting tactics title is Trash of the Titans, in which you play as trash animals, think raccoons or skunks, and have to defend your trash from rats, being able to eat said trash to upgrade your units and looks neat, although I can see the colour palette working against this game.
Break the cycle of life and death.
The next release from Japanese developer Inti Creates is here, who has actually gone on quite a tear post Mighty No. 9, with Umbraclaw being a new IP, an action precision platformer in which you play as a cat and has a sick art style as well.
However, with the power of Anima Revive, find hope in death. Each time Chroma dies, she'll revive with a new animal ability to tackle the dangers before her. Yet repeating this process will take its toll on Chroma, changing her body into a humanoid form honed for combat. Will the cat inside transform along with it? Adventure through the stunning twisted underworld and follow the story to a multitude of endings. Can Chroma reunite with her owner in the real world before her 9 lives run out?
A kingdom under a tyrant's rule. A prophecy of salvation.
We also have the Steam release for Vendir Plague of Lies, a turn-based RPG set in a grimdark, almost Dark Souls kind of world, being a CRPG but with more traditional JRPG combat.
What will be your destiny?
This one's for indie game developers. The free indie game marketing resources are ready, so sign up via the link in the description below to get it in your mailbox.
Would you look at that? Just another beautiful day in Spranklewater. Oh my. Oh, glorious. Hang on. Isn't that Terry, isn't it? I've been hearing a lot about you recently. So tell us, Terry, what's everyone fussing about?
A very weird and fun-looking exploration adventure game is Tiny Terry's Turbo Trip, in which our protagonist, Terry, is attempting to get to space in his car, in which you are exploring the city in a 3D platforming kind of way with driving as well. This seems to be taking inspiration from games like A Short Hike and looks like a fun, light-hearted title.
I'll make
Here's a neat-looking third-person action-adventure RPG named Astor Blade of the Monolith, a game that was previously known as Monolith Requiem of the Ancients, where even at the time, I thought that Monolith was already overused as a game's title, so this is better, but not by much, since it is still kind of generic. However, the game itself looks neat, with fun combat, platforming and exploration, with the main gimmick of being able to wield something known as the Runic Swarm, a type of ancient energy which you can shape into different types of weapons. I covered this way back when during its Kickstarter, so it's nice to see them making it to launch, so here's wishing the developers all the best. Surprise! I bet you were not expecting this, since Nightmare Kart is a free kart racer that was previously known as Bloodborne Kart, only with the Bloodborne bits taken out after intervention from Sony, but it still looks like an awesome Mario Kart-like combat racing game.
You must be the new participant. You must be confused, but try not to think too hard about all this.
I love the throwback PS1 era visuals, along with the sheer variety of characters and vehicles in the game, of which there are 12, and will be completely free, so why not give it a spin. A game that is very high up on my watch list is Scout Against the Black Priory, a classically designed turn-based, party-based CRPG that has absolutely nailed the visuals that are inspired by the Commodore 64 system, along with its limitations. You are leading a band of adventurers in this dark fantasy world, delving into dungeons and fighting monsters and enemies as you attempt to make your way to the gates of the Black Priory. While I don't have any particular nostalgia for the C64, I love how committed they are to the bit and seem to have nailed it, being something I'm definitely interested in. The next game from Taiwanese game developer Red Candle Games is quite the departure from their other titles, since they are best known for the horror games Detention and Devotion, but Nine Souls is a 2D Souls-like platformer instead. However, I don't think that there's any need to worry, since the demo has been very well received, in which our hero has to adventure to slay the 9 souls, which are formidable bosses. It has a self-described Tao punk setting that blends cyberpunk with Taoism and Far East mythology, showcasing some of the developers' own culture in this, which is always nice to see. Critically, this has a Sekiro-inspired deflection system, favouring aggressive play rather than sword and board, and is potentially a Game of the Year candidate. Watch this video for more Souls-like titles.